I got money on my bees, cause I'm getting all these honeys. I got money. Money is the virus, cause these niggas acting buggy. I got money on my.
Welcome everybody to the Genuine Content Podcast with your hosts Jay and Josh. Jay, we always got this intro. We got money, but that last episode let a lot of people know like what's really good with these first date vibes.
Yeah, apparently we don't got money based on that episode. It's all lies.
Right. Like somebody been fronting. Like you gotta point them out a little bit.
No, but yeah, man. But we back at it again. We just recorded the last episode a few days ago. I mean, I know we kind of said it before at the previous episode. We're kind of just racking all these recordings up. Got a lot of. I know you got some travel. I got some travel. So instead of just leaving the audience hanging, we're just gonna just rack these up. There's plenty of content to talk about, and be grinding. And then we got season finale that we're gonna record next week, but probably not gonna be released until December. But it's gonna be a good one.
Right. It's crazy because like even like late summer, like we were talking about, there's a dry spell and like what are we gonna talk about and stuff. And we found ways to make it go, but we also had our breaks in between. And we were like, yeah, I mean it's kind of dry anyway, like it's no big deal. Now like stuff's kind of flowing a little bit.
Not dry. Not dry.
It's a cuffing season thing, man. I feel like once cuffing season hits, like the drama starts pulling up, and we got deeper dives to take into it. So,
I'm telling you, and it's again, this season wasn't meant to be the relationship season, but damn, did so many relationship issues happen.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's on brand a little bit. Like, obviously, early in the year, there was a lot of like wedding festivities. Myself, you have your new youngin. Well, not new at this point. We're
actually 7 months now, man. No.
Yeah, I caught the first squeals. That was dangerous.
She definitely keeping up to her name.
Hey.
She gonna be a singer.
All right, there you go. So, just gotta get them on tune a little bit.
Yeah,
she's gonna be all right.
Nah, she doesn't. Honestly, she doesn't really squeal that much anymore. Now that I think that time in Gainesville, that was actually one of the few times as of lately. I think the only time she really like cries is like when we trying to put her to sleep. Like she knows she's tired, but like she's just like she's kind of like she's kind of like me where I don't take naps. Like I really have to be like dead tired to take naps. And like growing up as a kid, I didn't take naps. And then like Camilla's the opposite. She takes naps like all the time. So like she's like clearly getting that for me. She just refuses to take naps.
Okay. All right. Well, shoot, man. Obviously, you said it yourself. Like this has all been like kind of relationship heavy, relationship vibes, and we've got another good one. We've been exploring a various amount of different topics, so it hasn't really been like the same type of energy. But we're gonna bring it to a little bit of a pop culture. Not necessarily just social media, but we're gonna bring it to current events. This saga has kind of been ongoing, and
it's gonna be
see how long this thing's gonna last, man. Because we've had comedy spoofs about it, we've had whole shenanigans about it, we've had Oscar drama, and if you don't know by now, you probably already know what we probably talking about.
For the video,
what did the five hands say to the face?
Chris Rock said can do a whole comedy special on it. He gave us 10 minutes, but he can give us a whole special on it if he really wanted to.
At this point now, man, there's so much out there, man. He should have waited.
Yeah.
Imagine what he would have done with that stuff now.
But but I guess before we even get into that, we should probably just get a little, do our usual what's good segment. I know I thought about it after we recorded, but I didn't ask you this. But like Halloween passed, so I didn't even ask you what you did for Halloween, or how was Halloween in Gainesville.
So actually, interestingly enough, So I was working that Tuesday, the Tuesday of Halloween. Like I was working relatively late, and so my wife was actually at home. But this was technically our first like trick or treating experience where we're actually the ones like handing out candy.
And you look like you have a neighborhood that's very involved in Halloween. I just being there for the weekend. They take it
Bro, it was
serious. It seems
nuts.
like.
Oh, nah, bro. Like you don't even know, bro. Like there were so many cars that did not belong in the neighborhood. Like these were just guests, like on the side of the road, like leading up to the neighborhood. They were all out here, bro. Like people flock into the neighborhood just to like get involved in like trick or treating vibes. I don't know
They know.
where you're from.
They know
Yeah,
that's the trick or treat neighborhood.
yeah. It got to the point where like I'm pulling in the garage. And this lady behind me is like, "Hey, y'all gonna back out at some point?" And I'm like, "What?
I live
Are
here. What you
you
talking
insane?" I'm
about?
like, "This is my house. What are you talking about?" Like, of course. Like, don't try and block me in like that. She's like, "Oh, I thought you might not be. I thought you all might be cooped up." I was like, "Nah, we finna go out." Like, but so the day before, uh my wife buys like a variety pack of like Kit Kats, the Twixes, like the
Bad,
Hershey's.
them bad boys expensive.
Yeah, so she put me on that. Like I was like, oh, like that's how much that was. Like that's kind of wild. And we have nearly enough. That thing lasted an hour max. Like by the time I got home, it was already done. I was like, wait a second, it's
Same,
7:30. Like what's
same.
going on?
I think we had like 5 bags total, and that only lasted us halfway.
Yeah. Eventually we had to turn off the lights. Like we had to be like, yeah,
Man,
we out.
yo, I had a girl side eye me because like my mom was there because like this is Aaliyah's first Halloween, so she wanted to be there. So like we're giving candy, and after a while, I was like, yo, like we giving out too much. Like I understand we're trying to be generous, but like we need this to last for everyone else. So we're throwing them out, and then I gave a decent amount. I would like it's just a handful, but I was giving I was going like this originally, but then now I'm just going.
See,
So
I
then
think that's what I think that's what the missus was doing too. Like she was just handing out
yeah,
scoops. Like I'm like, you
but
can't run the Tostitos. You gotta have
but
like the little
yo.
flat boy hands.
But old girl looked at me and gave me the eye, right? And I was like,
Ooh,
damn,
that's
right? And
tough.
and she remembered me because after we was done, I was like, all right. So before like we went trick or treating, like before it got very packed
Yeah.
with Aaliyah, so we just went around, and then now we're done with the candy. A couple hours later, but you know what? Let's walk around because it's packed. Walking
Mhm.
around, she's we're doing trick or treating. I didn't know that girl lived, or either she lived here or her friends lived here, but she was part of the house that we went. And I didn't hear them, but like my sister heard it. And then the girl whispers to the other girl giving a candy. She was like, "Just give him one." I was like, "Damn!" I
That's
was like,
tough. Yeah.
I'm like, I gave you a
Payback's
handful.
a
Like,
mug, ain't
I,
it?
I didn't hear it, but like I just walked by and like, my sister's laughing. I'm like, "Yo, like what the hell's so funny?" And she was like, "Yo, like you didn't see how much like they gave us." I was like, "Nah, I don't really care." I was like, "Yo, she only gave you one because I guess she remembered." Because I mean, we all remember her side
Yeesh.
eyeing us. It was like,
Yeah, man. That's some
but like,
spiteful nonsense.
but you'd be surprised like how serious people take like trick or treating. Like when I moved here back in like 2018, like my neighborhood was not like that growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood, so of course people weren't trick or treating. But like, I remember like okay, like I think I moved here like around like April or May, so I was here for a few months already, and then I was like, okay, I think people take it seriously here, so we got some candy. And I didn't work that day, so I was just like watching scary movies by myself. Camilla was working that day, and then I think got a couple trick or treaters when it was like daylight, but then once it became night, a lot of them came in, and I looked out, and I was like, I'm gonna just hang outside. I have a
Yeah.
TV, I have a TV in the garage anyway, so I can just put the scary movie in the garage, and I'm just hang out with the chairs. I looked, and the block was flooded with kids. I'm like, yo, ain't no way. I know all these kids don't live here. Then we got the guy like
Mhm.
right across from me, got a big inflatable dragon. He has a DJ, so he's playing all like the classic Halloween music. And
Oh,
I'm
this
like,
is
yo,
vibes.
I'm like, this is crazy. Unfortunately, he doesn't do it anymore. I think the guy passed away. The old man passed away.
Oh,
So like,
oh man.
but like he did it. Like he was like the life of the party because even for New Year's he did something similar. But like that's when I knew I was like, oh, people take this like super serious now, man. Like
Yeah, you
I
had
gotta step my game up.
costumes
I did
at any
costumes.
point
Yeah, I've done them. Like I've done like I had Chewbacca. I've done
this year?
blind. No, this year I didn't do a costume.
Oh, okay, okay.
A lot was going on and like we wanted to. So only
Yeah,
Aaliyah has 3 costumes. She was a Gators cheerleader. She was a pirate, and she was a pumpkin.
I did see the pumpkin. That
Yeah.
thing was adorable, man. That costume was hilarious,
So
and she was like crying in it too. Like, it
yeah.
was so cute.
So this year I
Yeah,
didn't have a
man.
costume, but no, but next year for sure. No, I think we were going to do a costume,
Hmm.
and we was kind of joking around like us doing like Monsters Inc. Like I was gonna be Sully, Camilla would have been Mike Wazowski, and then Aaliyah would have been Boo. But we was like, well, we got to find the costume. And then when we went to Disney a few weeks ago for Food and Wine, we went to the Disney outlet and we saw the costume. It was like, we're gonna get it. Didn't have her size.
Too small.
All too small. It was like, damn, like that would have been like I would have got I would have ordered on Amazon my costume right then and there if you and it was a decent price. I think like a lot of stores didn't have them, and a few did. It was like a super tax. I'm like, nah,
Yeah,
it
the
ain't that
Disney
worth it.
markup. I feel you. I
Well,
feel
it
you.
was cool though. I mean, we didn't really do anything besides that, but like this was my calmest Halloween, because
Oh yeah.
I'm used to going to haunted houses, haunted trails. I'm used to doing all that stuff. This year just wasn't the year,
Yeah.
because I got a lot going on, but I vowed I'm going extra hard next year.
I feel you. I feel you. This was actually like the first time my wife and I actually did a Halloween up here. Like since we weren't like students and whatnot.
Scream.
Yeah, yeah, you already know. You already know. We tapped. I was tapped out a little bit from that, so it was kind of cool to bring it back a little bit. Uh, so the weekend before Halloween, we went out to this lounge, kind of like adulty, like good for the young professionals and whatnot. And they actually had a costume contest, and I did not even expect it. Like I wasn't really even trying like that, but I ended up winning this thing, and it was just like a drink like certificate and whatnot. It just
Okay.
got a couple drinks with it.
Well, so what were you?
So I was Prince Hakeem. I had like the whole hat, like I had just a
Oh
little
my
blazer and
god.
whatnot, like the little, the shoulder over and like the big behind gold chain.
Oh my.
I just pulled up in that, and everybody was like, "Yo, you're gonna win!" And I was like, "What you mean? Like this ain't
Like I'm
even
not even
all that?"
trying.
Yeah, I
Man,
just came, like, it was none. I just came
man,
up with the hat and whatnot.
I gotta find it. I gotta show the listeners, man, because I don't know if anyone's gonna believe me, but man, Josh had the best costume in 2012, and it sounds old me saying that,
Oh
but
yeah.
it was 2012. Man, this man was freaking Smokey. I know I
Hey,
have
I
it
can
on
get
record.
creative. You give me some time. Yeah, that was hilarious. I was just like, man, let me pull up at Marshalls. Let me get like a big, like triple XL shirt, like some baggy gray jeans and whatnot. And I just borrowed a chain from somebody I knew. And that thing just worked out, man. Everybody knew it off the rip. Like I was walking into like the pregame parties and they were like, Smokey!
That shit, that thing
Smokey!
was, oh my god, that was insane. I remember walking in. I don't think you told anybody. You just
Nah, I didn't tell nobody, bro. Everybody just knew off the rip. They were like, "Yo, you that guy from Friday or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." Like it just worked out. I knew that. I used to get like Chris Tucker a lot when I was like a kid as like my doppelganger,
yeah.
and so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sell it, and it worked out. It was a big move. People rocked with it.
Man, I know it's
Man,
somewhere in
I
my
know
phone.
you deep
I'm
in the
gonna find
archives
it.
at this point. Good night.
I know I have it somewhere, man. I before this episode ends, I'm finding this. It's somewhere.
Hey,
I
that's
will
all
give it.
good, man. We got plenty of time. We got a good episode in the meantime. Halloween vibes aside. But yeah, that's it for the What's Good segment. Once again, we're genuine content spelled with a K. We bring you current events, pop, music, arts, television, movies, you name it. We put a little bit of a deeper spin on stuff, really talk about like the culture with it. So if you like what we do, follow us on IG at genuine_content. Once again, content spelled with a K. Like, subscribe, leave a review on all the streaming platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Play. We're also on YouTube, as you can see if you're looking at the live or if you're looking at the video pod. We've got it all decked. So, give us a listen. We appreciate any and all support. If you want to, leave a take on any of the things that we talking about, definitely hit us up on IG, like I said, or leave a review, leave a comment on YouTube, anything. We got it. We want to hear from y'all. This is really an episode for everybody who rocks with us. Oh man, I can tell by the face you found this one. I can already tell. I'm like, all right, I might as well not bury the lead. Yeah.
In the archives.
Man, I must have been gassed because I hated energy drinks too, man. Like,
I'm looking at that
tired,
now. You got
bro.
Monster.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I went with the head eater too. Like, come on, I must have been tired. That must have been a long night after taxing folks.
No, I think that was that was the same weekend that Mario like brought Chris and them. So I don't remember sleeping those days.
Yeah.
Like I remember skipping class because
Jeez.
Oh yeah, and we had to work that part, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was working that joint the whole time, but hey, we came out a little bit on the green. I ain't mad at that one.
That's the one thing they taught us, how to run a business like that, or get the funds.
Yeah. You know it's funny too, because if people didn't recognize me as Smokey, I would have been taxed if I was in line for that joint just because of what I had on. I would have been like an easy 150 in that party. Because I had like really no costume. I just put stuff together and it just looked like the guy.
So before we get into it, I guess a quick story for people who don't know. Again, we're in the same frat, so we had a party, Halloween parties, annual parties called Scream, with a K. So that should tell you something. But like so, and it was always on Halloween. It didn't matter if Halloween was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday. We made sure that it was authentic. It was always done that day. But the whole thing was a costume party, and all we really did was, we signed a contract with whatever club promoter we were working with, but we kind of we made the rules. Like we made final decision in regards to like pricing and stuff. And like in college, what was it, like $10 to get in, $20 to get in, something like that. It wasn't much. But me and Josh had this thing where like we strictly enforced dress code. So whatever party we were hosting. So for example, this is all a costume party, we enforced that. And there were people like, a lot of people who didn't go to school there, didn't go to school in Florida. They would come through because they knew like we're the only people throwing a Halloween party on Halloween. So we basically had all the buzz. Or if we didn't, if maybe we had competing parties, we had a good job of really pubbing. Like we kind of had the campus on lock. And I remember I see people like, I see goons and all that. Like, man, I'm like, yo, like, what are you? No, man, I'm this. I'm like, nah, that's not a costume, man. It's 100. And I'm like, no, I ain't paying for that. I'm like, and then on purpose, I would see like, I mean, look, I'm not trying to like sexualize or anything like that, but I knew like there was some girls who were coming through. So on purpose, I was like, y'all can come in, like skip the line, free, whatever. Like I'm like, hey, I'll eat the cost on this because I'm gonna make it back on him. So I was like, yo, and I'm like, look, that was like 4 girls who just walked in. Like that's a lot of them here. Like the ratio, it's favorable. Mm-hmm. So you and your boys is 100 a pop. And if you don't, and then I remember this happened where they was like, no, we'll come back. They left, came back. I was like, my man, it's 200 a pop. Like it's supply and demand. Like
man, you finesse yourself. Like, why would you do that?
That was your fault. Just like when we did it for Champagne Jam. Again, that's another one. We had a party. unlimited champagne. All you have to do is just dress nice, suit, girls
Yeah.
dress. I think you put up. I think you charged someone 400 once.
Yo, I went in. I was like, man, because honestly, I didn't want them to come in. Like, I was like,
Right.
bro, you're gonna throw off the whole vibe of the party. But then they just whipped out the wine. I was like, oh shoot.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you know
You
what?
got it, boss. Like, I was like, I bet. Like,
But again, I pulled the same stunt because I think with that one, I think originally we was like, hey man, like if we know like 5 girls, get them in for free. It's like I guess 5 per person. I think that's what we'd agreed on at the time. So we knew it was like we all strategy. Like the
yeah.
more girls who come in, because if you tell a girl, hey, I got you in for free, you good.
Mm-hmm.
It was all advertising on marketing. Just they taught us how to be business savvy, and we
He
taxes
cleaned up a little bit. He cleaned up a little bit.
and we splurged. That money just went to us. That we pocketed all that just for us.
I mean, it was the sign of the times. It was unfortunate circumstances, but
Unfortunate, but man, those parties funded our weekly grill sessions.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, them tailgate flows were on point. So we reinvested into the community. We didn't all go to waste. We ain't buy no Jordans with it. At least not everybody.
Not everybody.
Not everybody bought Jordans with it.
No, we use the money to free tailgates for free publicity. Hey, you want to hang with us?
Like, come on down.
We got a party coming up. We got a pool party coming up. Man, those were fun, man. That college teach you a lot.
We repurposed a lot. Yeah, we made a lot. We made nickels, man. Like we did a lot with just nickels and dimes. We were really running it, man.
Not to mention when you think about it, like, and I think the first party when we did Scream, we did it with a club promoter, and after that, we realized we're bigger than you. Like, and I remember we went against him for Champagne Jam, and I remember like it was Duke at the time, and Duke told him, I was like, "Are you sure?" Like our name alone, like Champagne Jam alone, would destroy whatever party you had.
Yeah, I was like, bro, we got a fountain. Like that's all I needed to know. I was like, bro, we got a fountain out here. Like we finna
That was
sleep.
funny.
I just put one picture up on this shit. We good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he lucky that we only did that for 1 year. Because if we had like maybe 2-3 years of doing it, yeah, we'd have cleaned up. But that was our senior year, so we didn't care.
Yeah, I was all the way. We were retiring anyway.
I was like, yeah, we're going out with a bang.
Blaze of glory right there.
Good times.
Yeah,
but
Zeta fire, baby.
That's a good way to end our little reminiscing. But let's talk about the topic, guys, that you teased earlier. Jada and Will.
Shoot. Speaking of long-lasting predicaments, man, like I don't even know where to really start. Like I feel like I'm trying to figure out like why are they still kind of relevant and like why are they still buzzing in the news? But like this has been like a years-long pandemonium, and then it turns out that like it's even like years beyond what we even think.
Yeah,
like it's a hot mess, and I'm like, talk about a fall from grace because they were like the quintessential like duo couple, like relationship goals and whatnot, and then
like J. Cole said, man, I want that Will love, I want that real love, that Jada.
Oh, he don't even say it no more.
Love. I know, but I'm saying like that was a verse, right? I want
Cancel.
That Jada and Will. Yeah. And then I saw the video where he's performing it and he's just, and then goes to the next.
Yeah. That was probably some funny heat too.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. But I mean, the only reason we're talking about it because I mean, once again, Jada makes headlines a few weeks ago in regards to her memoirs. So, I mean, we can kind of we can kind of summarize like how you said it goes back and forth. I mean, this really kind of stemmed back from like 2020, right? Like this was, I remember when everything happened with the pandemic. Like, I think we were so hungry and invested in something not depressing. I mean, think about it, all of us had cabin fever, or like some of us like I did, where like I didn't have cabin fever, but like I still had to go to work. I worked in the hospital. I worked in the emergency room, so I was like definitely for like front line. Oh yeah. So I didn't have that. I didn't have that like work from home or anything like that. But it's still like suppressing because like work change and all this stuff, and all you hear is COVID. So when anything happened, like, you know, everyone kind of soaked into it. Like this was a time where like remember when Tiger King was a thing? That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
And everyone
What?
watched it because it was like, what else do you do? Like it was like kind of like we just, and I didn't watch it, but like I know everyone. I
Nah,
think I was like one of the people who didn't watch it. I'm like, I'm not falling for this. I'm not this
watch it
desperate.
either. But like anything could have been trending. Like something was just itching to be like the trending topic. Like,
But the trending topic was, you know, Jada does her I don't even know if she still does it, but her Facebook show, the Red Table Talk, and I think it was a thing for a little bit, and then it wasn't until she had the Will episode where they were like, it was Jada, Will, their daughter. I don't know if it's Willow. I don't know. You know how many kids they have, and I think it's Jada's mom. And basically, they were kind of like going at Will, like, you know, Will wasn't a good husband, or like based on what Jada's saying, like things were like one example about like the birthday party where things probably, I don't know, 30th, 40th, 45th, I don't know. It was one of those milestone birthdays, and he like I think she didn't want anything, but he wanted like a big surprise. He wanted to really like celebrate his wife, like, you know, she's, you know, believe it or not, right? She at the time was more to herself, didn't want the spotlight like that, which you could fool me these days, but
yeah, right.
but you know,
Right.
like a nice gesture, right? Like he wanted to go all out, and then you know, he did it, and she, I guess, you know, she played the part like, yeah, you know, I like it, whatever. But then she basically told Will, you know, you did this for yourself. It wasn't for me. It was for you. Like basically, like kind of throwing shade at him for like a nice gesture that I'm pretty sure a lot of our like partners would, you know, enjoy. Like, you know, he makes so much money, he's gonna make this something, you know, something special for you. And to me, it's like you just brainwashed the man, because he's looking like, yeah, you know what, I did it for me. Like, damn, like you did it for, no, Will, you did it for her, but I don't know what kind of, you know, strings that, you know, what strings she's pulling, but you know, she it's like she manipulates him. Stuff like that happen, and then later on, the big thing, you know, the entanglement, and again, she brings him on freaking the Red Table Talk, and you see this man like broken. That's going on during 2020. Of course, this is again pandemic time. Everything is just spotlight on them. And that was the joke. How many songs, how many jokes are between Jada, Will, or August Alsina, entanglement? And then it kind of goes quiet for a little bit. I think maybe every now and then something comes up, but nothing too serious. And then the slap happens. So, of
Yeah.
course, you know, that's the Oscars last year. So then now we're in 2022. That happens. And then, of course, Chris Rock is now going on, you know, rampage with the jokes. Like his one joke just exploded, and it was only a 10-minute joke, but it exploded. And
Yep.
now of course that brings up the conversation. Like, you know what, damn, like Jada did this, you know, blah blah blah, entanglement. And again, like it was a bad look because it seemed like Jada made him do it. You know, it's all. I guess it really depends on how you take it. Like Will laughed at the joke, looked at Jada, she gave him the eye, then he slaps. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
I question the authenticity of that situation
it's like
immediately.
it's like she treated Will like a dog. Like she's like sick him. Was what it looked like.
Kind of like it. Yeah.
And then that died down, and then the memoirs come. You know, she released her book, and it's like, well, why? Why are you releasing the memoirs? Okay, okay, whatever. You know, we don't know the financial situation, but the memoirs happened. But why did you have to dog? I think she dogged Will. The memoirs talk about like, you know, they even separated since 2016. She, you know, didn't know about the slap situation. She was shocked about him still calling her his wife.
Cap.
Talked
Cap.
about the whole, you know, Tupac situation, which Tupac's, you know, continuously comes up in her, you know, all the time. And you know how she find it toward the later end of the relationship, she find it hard to have a sex life with him, like just like totally dogging
Like,
him. So
what?
something that happened from 2020, right? Went from 2020 to 2023. Just to find out this has been happening really since 2016. And then maybe even go back further because of her love for Tupac. And Tupac died back what? 96, 97?
something like
So
that. Yeah, we weren't any older than 7 or 8.
no, I mean, yeah,
That's nuts.
we got the tail end of his career.
Yeah, man. Like, obviously, like there keep like more layers keep getting packed onto this story that, to be honest, is like beating a dead horse a little bit. Like, I honestly I don't care anymore. Like, I'm just like, really? Like, at the end of the day, like you've lost like the whole image, right? That was being portrayed of being this perfect couple and being
Jay-Z,
relationship
Beyonce,
goals.
Barack and Michelle.
Yeah,
Was
like
Jada Will. Now you're gone from that.
nah, that thing's been cut, and now you're almost like leaning into the other, right? Like like the toxicities of it, and like I don't know if this is some like try like empowering the situation or like kind of reeling back the control of it. But I'm like, at the end of the day, like almost like one of the main like relationship like goals aspects is like don't air out your dirty laundry. Like, and now like it's shoot, like everybody's got like everybody's at least got a towel, a napkin, and some
So
parts of it. Like,
why do you have to? I mean, like you said, don't air your dirty laundry. Why are you going like on social media saying this? Why are you going on different podcasts? Of course, you know she's doing her tour, right? Like her book tour, where she's trying to hype up her memoir. But why are you going and talking about Tupac? Why are you talking about like stuff like he died, like in the
yeah,
90s, right? Like over 20 years ago, and like just somehow you're the only reason why but Tupac for the most part is really get brought up either for his like mainly for his music and movies. Like you're either gonna
mhm,
argue he's one of the greatest rappers of all time, or you're gonna watch
right,
like really good movies like Poetic Justice,
yeah,
or like the movies he in, or like maybe you see him in a few shows like he was in like a different world, like he has like he he does like he's such an icon, but like he's really known for those things, and so no one's really bringing him up outside of pop culture.
yeah.
But she's keeping it up there. But it's like why? And it's like no
And at
offense,
Will's
Jada.
expense, though.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
I'm
So
like,
it's like no offense, Jada, but like Will is the bigger, like he's the bigger one out of you. I mean, arguments could be made that she's only as famous as she is because she dated the Fresh Prince. Think about that. Like, if for people to think that Will Smith's a big thing now, you gotta imagine like in the '90s when he's rapping with him and Jazzy Jeff,
yep,
and then you have the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, which is like, I mean, it's a classic show, right? That's one of the top 5 sitcoms ever. And you have iconic movies where he has the terrible movies like the Wild Wild West, but then you have something like I, Robot. To me, is a movie that stands the test of time. Like that's a movie that it can come out in this day and age. That's how like advanced that was. Or like you have something like The Pursuit of Happiness. That's such a good movie. Or I like remember we talked about this off camera, but like I never saw Focus, but Focus was a big deal. Or like now he did the Suicide Squads, whether that's mixed or not. So I'm naming so, or like Concussion, or and then he has the one
mhm.
King what's the one he won the Oscar for? King Richard.
Oh yeah, King Richard. Yeah,
So
I
he
Am
has
Legend too. Like,
I
yeah,
Am
yeah.
Legend, great movie. So think about everything I just like, and I'm not nowhere close to his
You didn't
like
even say Men in
discography,
Black.
right? I if I sit down, I can really think and name them all, right? Name
Yep.
me what was Jada in. I can name like 5, maybe, and it's a stretch.
Low
Her
down,
main,
dirty shame. That's the one I
so
got.
I
That's
don't
the
even think
Wise
about that.
classic.
The one I think of truly is Set It Off, and it's not because she was the best one. Queen Latifah to me is the best character. I
Hmm.
don't I got all of them, but like I said, she's in Set It Off. She's in A
And what,
Different
Girls
World.
Trip? Is that what
She's
that
in
is?
Girls
That the
Trip.
newest
Again,
one?
she's in Girls Trip, and Tiffany Haddish is the star of that show, of that movie.
Facts.
So like,
Facts.
what's something that she's in that like that you can say is hers? Like I don't know. Did you ever watch the show Gotham?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Fish Mooney.
she's in it, and she's a made up character. Like Gotham's a Batman show, so I'm like very versed in the comics, and like that's a made up. Like they just made it for the show, and that character sucked. Like
She wasn't that bad, bro. Like I ain't mind like some Fish Moody vibes.
I didn't want her. I wanted the Penguin. I wanted the Maronis, the Falcons. I wanted that mob stuff, and she was like trying to get into it, but it's like to me her character was so uninterested. Like I didn't care for it, and her acting was, my God, it's fine, but like again, but just like naming stuff, like her catalog is nowhere near. Like he's the bigger star, and now she's truly trying to bring him down.
Kind of trying to just elevate her platform really at his expense, and that's really unfortunate, like all the way around. My thing is like for both parts, like the charade of it all, that's what gets me. I'm like, if y'all have really been separated since 2016, why all the other stuff? Like why even like try and charade yourself as like this perfect couple all this time just to blow it up during COVID? Like what could have possibly happened? Because maybe it was like amicable at a certain point in time, but like what in the hell went down for like the whole like entanglements part to like even be a thing?
But now it makes sense though, because remember the rumors where they had a open relationship? Oh, it weren't open. I mean, it was open because they weren't together.
Yeah, but there wasn't no relationship either.
Yeah.
I mean,
living that lie cannot be good. Couldn't be good for like their mental health or whatever. And it's funny because like Will is he's the player persona, right? He's so charismatic.
Yeah.
Think about it, like in like Fresh Prince, super charismatic. Even in like action movies like iRobot, like he still shows his charm. Hitch is not really a good movie, and he carries that. He makes it a good movie. Right? Like think about I only watch it because of him. Like Kevin James characters, whatever. Everyone really side stories. It's whatever. It's like you really watch it for Will, not for anything else.
I'm going for the Eva Mendes a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
But that's still Will's storyline though.
Yeah, you got me. You got me on that.
And he's just that charismatic guy, and it's like. I don't know, like when I see him these days, it's like I see a shell of Will Smith.
He's been relegated, like so. And we watched Ted Lasso, man. It's like he lost that last game, and now he's in the bottom. Like you're like, bro, he just got pegged down in class, and I'm just like, why? Like
for everyone, please watch Ted Lasso. That's my pub of the day. No, but yeah,
there it is. But I'm just like, man, like he's been dragged through the mud, not just by his own family, but then like the media, the court of public opinion, social media, right? Like now he's got this like image of being a simp, being unstable.
I was gonna say that we clowned him in our group, like our group chat, like when that slap happened, like it was very much. Half the group was like, nah, man, I'm still pro Will, man. Like, you got to defend your old lady end of the day. And some of us, both of us were part of the other side. Like, no. That was a simple move because, like, I mean, like everyone says, you're beating up someone smaller than you. Like, you're the bully mentality, the whole thing where it looked like she's sick to you. Like, she's like, sick 'em boy. Like,
yeah.
Like, it didn't look right. And I'm like, look, man, I always say you can't get offended by comedians, right? You can't you just take the joke like Will, like Will's not a comedian, but you do a lot of comedies. You do jokes at other people's expense. You probably don't realize it.
Yeah. And in all things considered, that was not a bad joke.
No.
Like that was. I mean, did it cross the line of lighthearted? Yeah. But it was not like it was not an egregious joke by any means. Like, I've heard way worse from Chris Rock.
Was it offensive? That's
a little bit.
I don't think so, because like in in the art of comedy, nothing's like off, like
Yeah,
nothing's at the table. So like it's like, yeah, so it might be insensitive on regular conversation, but
insensitive
like,
is the word.
yeah,
Insensitive
it's
is the word.
sensitive.
Yeah,
So but
yeah,
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 but it's just like, like, but that's the beauty of comedy.
yeah.
It kind of go back to like what I remember we talked about previously, like where like back in one of the few early episodes about comedy, where like when you watch Ted 2 and they go to like an improv, and it's like, yeah, give me something and I make a joke about it, and Ted goes, yeah, like make a joke about 9/11 or the Holocaust, or like, like stuff like that, and of course it's insensitive, but you can kind of make a joke out of it. You just
Yeah,
like if you're really good like Dave Chappelle, you can make a joke out of it.
yeah. I mean, it's part of the self-expression and the beauty of the art that is comedy, right? Like you can really, as we've said before, you can bring light to various situations through laughter. And while this one was not necessarily, I mean, it was kind of like a roast, right? Like this is like the Oscars, and that
Yeah,
stuff happens all the time.
Chris
Like,
Rock has been a host multiple times. Like
yeah,
if a comedian's a host, you know what's happening.
yeah.
So
And if
like
you're in the front row, you're a target.
I
Like,
know it's
come
like
on.
this is not completely the same, but like when you have like the ESPYs, right, and Payne Manning is hosting it. While he's not a comedian, he's a football player. What was he doing? He was
Cracking
cracking on
jokes.
everybody.
Oh yeah.
Whether they were hilarious or not, that's just like the thing.
Yeah. I mean, you might have some people stone faced, just like,
Yeah, that's not
yeah, that
cool.
joint
Whatever.
wasn't funny, man. Like, why you do that, man? But
Like
like
I
at the end of
lost,
the day, it's not slap worthy. Like, what are
Yeah.
we doing here?
Nah,
Like,
nah, nah.
and at the end of the day, like, at what cost, right? Because he lost his Academy Award, and I'm like,
He's
at the end of the
suspended for 10 years, and
you're not even in a relationship with this person. So who did you really defend? What
to the
did you
point where
really defend?
so he got suspended for 10 years, right? And I didn't see King Richard. So if they say it's Oscar worthy, I'll play along with that. But then he had a movie this year. I forgot what it was. It's on Apple TV. I didn't see it yet. It's on my list, but they said that's Oscar worthy, and you know what? You're not gonna get the recognition for it because there's consequences to it. And I mean, again, he's lucky that even Chris Rock didn't even like press charges. I would have been like, man, f you, man. Like you embarrass me on live TV. You getting arrested? Like I don't like I'll press his charges. I'll drop the charges, but just to have your ass in jail, like just
You low key did him a solid. I mean, but
right? It was a
I'm
sucker
just like,
move.
bro, at what cost? Like, you gained nothing for it. Like, you defended nobody's honor because that's not even like your person.
So and now it's worse. Now that we know that they weren't even together, and like the fact that she's even shocked that like, oh my god, like he during his acceptance speech he said it like my wife. That makes it even look worse. Like now for me it's like I went from like me thinking Will Smith is a straight simp to like, damn, bro. I feel sorry for you. Like it's it's like embarrassing. Like it's total embarrassment now. Because why does everything have to be publicized? Like, does it just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean it has to be publicized? Like think about how low key Jay-Z and Beyonce are. Like they're huge, right? And they're
Yeah.
really the one scandal happened because there was a camera in the
Yeah, the 444 era.
yeah, but like besides that, like you don't know really anything about their lives.
Yeah, but then again, they're not on like a tour to really like showcase it like that and
Because you
parade
don't have to.
themselves. And yeah, like they just really don't have to do all that. And so
But Will and
I don't know
Jada,
what angle
but Will and
Jada
Jada,
and or Will are on, but like this did not work out. Whatever, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. I disagree now.
yeah. Oh yeah, because I mean this kind of goes to the topic I wanted to bring up. Like, you're talking about the bad publicity, but like with all the publicity that's happening with Jada against Will, like, do you think she's like very much like emasculating him? Because like I mean now we're having the whole war. I guess this is a tease for our next episode, but like they have the whole war about like masculine females, or females with masculine traits. Like that's the battle that at least social media is going with. Old generation men, it's like the new generation men are like are trying to get back the old old ideologies and stuff, and they kind of want to go back to the old ways. But Jada, very independent woman. She definitely, up until this point, did a lot for her own. She's displaying these masculine tendencies, whatever. So like now she's kind of like dogging Will and doing all that. Like, do you think she's like emasculating, and even how so?
So I think it's twofold. I think, yeah, in part, I think she is almost like de-identifying him.
That's a good word. That's a good thing. I haven't thought about that, but that's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, and then he almost doubled down on it, right? Like he amplified it himself. And
You're right. You're right, because when you think of Jada, you think Will like that.
Yeah.
So now I get her. She's just trying to be Jada, like Jada Pinkett, not Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, and now she's kind of coming back and like trying to really re-emphasize, really reinforce this separation, and like I don't know if it's necessarily taking her power back or just kind of establishing it or what have you. It's obviously like at a very seismic cost in kind of media outlook of the situation, and it's kind of getting tiring as well. Like, do I have sympathy for Will? Nah, I really don't. I damn sure don't have sympathy for Jada, her situation either. Like at this point, I'm almost like I don't care at all. But like I just think that like they were really a team item, right? They were a pair, power couple, and like it's almost like part of the divorce without divorcing, right? Like this is the split.
I disagree about the like you don't feel bad for Will, because I feel totally bad for Will. Like again, like I went from like yo, you're like a simp, to now like not even the slap, but like I gotta put like everything in perspective. Like so they've been broken up, right? Separated, whatever. So he's living this lie. He's living this charade. And you live in this, and then you get embarrassed twice on the Red Table Talk. Twice in the same year. That's happening, and then you got to be the bigger person because you love Jada that much, and love is blinding. It can really hide all the bad, right? Like I mean that's why you kind of see like abusive relationships and such. And I'm not saying this is one. It could be an emotionally abusive relationship, but like that's why a lot of abusive relationship, it happens so long, in domestic violence, all that happening, because like you still like have that love for that person, and he, whatever image he has of Jada, he still kind of has, because he's gone through that. He's gone through the embarrassment of the slap. I mean, he was the budding joke of entanglement. He's to the point where like you can tell they try to hush August, and it worked somewhat because he had a promising career and just kind of died out.
But that's kind of part of why I don't feel sorry for him either, because like you negatively impacted somebody else's career, and there was a power dynamic there, right?
I really liked August. I think he was like one of my I liked his mixtapes, and I liked the first album. The second one was okay, but the third album was really good. And he's gone now, and I know it has something to do with that.
But I mean, it was all in the pretense of August being a home record, and there was no home. There was no damn home.
In the beginning, it's like it sounded like it, and now it's like there was no home. But like, so here's the real reason why I feel bad, and like, and it goes back to the emasculating. I mean, how will you feel if Maisha comes and like not comes to you, but like she talked to her friends and she's on social media and she's like, Bob, Bob is like really my soulmate. He was my soulmate. Just he died for whatever reason. Even on with Josh, yeah, he's my husband. But Bob is that, like that's the guy I would never stop talking about.
Man, like this is so far fetched beyond like the realm of possibility. Like
It sounds so far fetched, and it happened. It is
that's
happening.
that's when like this whole
Like,
situation is nuts,
like,
right?
like
Like
for Will to be married to Jada for God knows how long, right? At least since like we'll say close to 20 years, because
yeah,
I guess they're still technically married, and you're living in the shadow of Tupac. Like it's like you're never good enough for Jada because you're not Tupac, and it's been documented how he felt about Tupac, how he feels like he knows how much love that she has, and like when I saw the clip of the Red Table Talk where the daughter is crying about how much like how she missed Tupac and how Jada misses Tupac. I'm like, girl, who is Tupac? Tell me who. Don't tell me the artist. Who is Tupac? Like you're crying over someone you don't know. He's not even your dad. He's really nothing to you except your mom's like your mom's love of her life, and
I
that's
mean,
happening.
she might have had plenty of like late night stories and connections, and like the messed up part is that like if that's the case, for her to have like that type of connection with somebody else and not the father, that like eh, once again, like I don't feel bad for Will. Like I don't feel bad for Will in this situation because like
No, but it gets worse. But it gets worse. Like now that when Jada goes on Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson's podcast, and she's saying how like
oh sheesh.
quote unquote he proposed to Tupac proposed to Jada. No proof. We just have to take her word for it. Why are you saying that? So now if I'm Will and I'm like, and I probably didn't know that, and I'm like, God damn, Tupac proposed to, and she said that even though they're soulmates, they didn't have chemistry. Jada, shut up, because I don't know how that makes sense. So just shut up. So it's like you're living under the shadow of that, and then she goes on the record, I think a year ago, saying that it was hard for her to have a sex life with Will. Like, yo, like whatever masculinity I had, you're just slowly taking it away. And now, like, all my business is out there that I probably didn't want. You want to keep this in house, but you, for whatever reason, have like you're so like self-centered and selfish that you have to do it. Like,
Yeah.
we've been broken up. So 2016 they were separated. 2020 they had the Red Table Talk. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
No one knew that you were having issues. It could have stayed there. And I get the premise of the Red Table Talk because basically, if I'm the host, I'm expressing my vulnerability. So like if I can do it, if I'm a celebrity, then as a regular person you can too. But like, at what expense are you doing it to your husband? And he has to take it. Like she has to have some dirt on him, some really bad dirt, because he's think about it, he's taking it. Like he wrote a letter.
Pause.
He wrote a letter congratulating her on her memoirs and like what a such a great read, and like because he read the memoirs, he loves her even more. Like that's like some emotional abuse he's going through over there.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think we can safely say they both need therapy if they're not already in it or continuing
Serious
it.
therapy.
But once again, like, and you said this yourself, Jay, like, if you're not willing to get what you need or like empower yourself to make the decisions for yourself, I I get that there's kids involved and everything.
Now they old now. It don't matter.
And weren't they emancipated at like 14 or something like that anyway? Like they were kind of
no.
just doing their own thing for the longest.
The joke was like they got some crazy ass kids. Well,
Well, now it makes sense.
now it makes sense because they saw what was happening. So I'm pretty sure this is not a shock at all. I mean, obviously they knew what was happening. Freaking Jaden over here hooking up his mom with August.
That's nasty work. That's what I'm saying. Like
Damn, Will,
bro, like you know how like
what you do to your
bastard
kids?
betrayal like that is, bro. Like to your dad, to your biological dad. I don't know what Will is doing. Like, I don't know what Will did background wise to lead up to something like that. But I don't feel sorry for that because, like,
He must have been a bad dad or something, or like
I don't.
either that, or it can go back to, well, what is Jada saying?
It could be, it could be manipulative, like you mentioned, but it's just unfathomable that, like, and I am not going to claim to know Hollywood, but man, like at some point, like the family reunion is going to get weird.
Yeah.
like, bro, like I don't, memoir or not, dirty laundry or not, like that's just some nasty work.
I mean, think about everyone at the cookout when you see them, you're gonna be like, I mean, like oh, you heard what they said on
Somebody
the
ain't
internet,
going to
right?
it. Like somebody
Right.
ain't making an appearance, bro. Somebody got like the flu or something.
But but like as bad as like Jada is, again, I think she's totally emasculating him, and like again, like they're having their own issues. I think Will is the victim, but I think my thing is when if this was happening, if it was the guy displaying these like toxic traits and doing what Jada's doing, then I think like everyone's gonna be defending like if Jada was the victim, everyone would have been like, I can't believe Will, and the headline would be expanding, right? And like he's so toxic, and like yeah, and really tear him down. Like you can tear down an illustrious career by just like bad behavior, right? Like this is not the
Yeah.
same thing or anything like that. But like when I say that, the first thing in my mind is like Kevin Spacey, right? Very illustrious career. Now he had an allegation. I don't know if it's an allegation or if he got convicted of it, but there was allegations, right? And that's it. We haven't heard from Kevin Spacey since.
Mhm.
So imagine if Will, really was the one doing this, and like you can say like this is Will strutting his his manpower, and this is why like it's a man dominant society, and he's just like this is why we're trying to get equality because of stuff like them, and we're making the poster child of guys we don't want to date our daughters, or anything like that. We would dog, or they would dog Will. But man, I hear crickets for Jada. Like she's bringing this toxic femininity. We don't even know that's the thing. If anyone really brought that up as a phrase yet, but like it's only like maybe post here or there that's like Jada's bad or whatever. But like this has been going on for a while, and I've heard it on the Stephen A. Smith show, and they talked it briefly on Uncle Ocho, but Uncle Ocho, all they really talked about is like don't put it on social media or anything like that. But Stephen A. was like legit. He's like, yeah, man, like F this, like go for Jada, and it's like, and that was it. Like he said that, and why didn't that catch fire? Stephen A. is a prominent figure.
Yeah.
He's at this point beyond sports. Like people know Stephen A. A lot
Yeah.
of people do. So,
He's
but
dabbling into some other topics too.
he does a lot of social commentary. He does I think it was a Young and the Restless, or I don't know. He does one of those daytime shows every now and then. But when he brought that up, I was like, it makes sense because why is no one going for Jada? Like it went to the point where I was dogging Will, and I'm like, I want to go to the defense of Will. Like, yo, he's almost a victim, and everyone's dogging him and all this stuff. I want to protect him, and F Jada. Like Will is almost a sympathetic figure in this point because he's so quiet. He's taking the high road.
Man, this one's tough because I feel like this is a very, I don't want to say like, I'm not sure the actual balance of this, but I feel like this is a very two-sided toxicity. Like there's toxic masculinity, there's toxic femininity in this all the way around. And at some point you just don't really like, you don't really know who is doing what. Like honestly, I can't even tell you who like the toxic masculinity is coming from and who the toxic femininity is coming from because it's
Right.
all over the place. You know what I mean? Like it's just that messed up. And I'm
It's
not saying that
blurring.
like I'm. It's not about like the fluidity aspect of that. That's not what I mean by messed up. What I mean by messed up is that like the sheer toxicity of the situation is just so wild that like it doesn't really make a lot of sense because of all the inconsistencies over the years. It just seems like two liars that got bit and now are kind of paying for it in some way, shape, or form. And maybe at this point, Jade is kind of like trying to get the one up and kind of using like the sign of the times to, run it a little bit and kind of, like I said, kind of create that distance. But I mean, I think they're both just as toxic. Uh,
But why? But why is no one defending Will, or like, or why is no one like kind of really checking Jada? Like, why isn't Jada getting something like Future got dogged for being a dog, right? Or like even though Nick Cannon is a very for the most part involved dad, right, involved father, people
mm,
like people think it's very toxic that he wants to you know impregnate like 10 baby mamas or anything
mm,
like that. Just like or like back to Future, you have the Future Russell Wilson dynamic, and
yeah,
like and that that's kind of weird, and that's been going on for a few years. But like when that's happening, still people went to the defense of Sierra, right?
yeah,
Think about that, like, and it was I remember like just a simple thing where Future had a problem, and as a dad, I can see as a problem now. I can relate where you know I like I wouldn't want like if me and like Camilla like let's just say like we got divorced and she has the kid and we whatever, right? If she
mm-hmm.
is dating somebody, I wouldn't want Buddy doing fatherly duties to my daughter. Like, yo, bro, you gotta stay in your lane. So like that's not your kid. This is like a child, like 5, 6, 7 years old. I think is what Future's son was at the time. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't. And Future had a problem with that. But when it was like addressed and stuff, it was like, oh no, Future's the toxic person. Like let Sierra be, right? Like you're just mad because she moved on and she upgraded, right? Like again, it was as a father now. I'm like, I get it, especially like if you don't know Buddy. Like, well, I only know Russell Wilson because he's a football player, but like Future's probably like I don't know him. Like if you eventually have a good relationship and it's like okay, well, I understand you love my kid as your own. I get that because of the years and such, but understand I'm the father, you're not. Like there's blurred lines, and like Future said, like he kind of broke a man code, which is now I get. But
Mm-hmm.
again, Future's the toxic one. She's the queen that escaped the toxicity. So we're dogging Future, and yeah, Future has his history, but people are checking him and defending Sierra.
But would you dog see like what would you really dog Sierra about in this
No, no,
one?
no, no,
I
no.
guess
I'm
that's
not saying
kind
I
of
would
the
dog her.
question.
No, I'm just no. I just use it as an example as like when something like when there was toxic traits happening or what people believe are toxic traits. You know how they quickly just went against Future real quick. Society went against him. Like social media went against him.
Yeah,
Jada's doing that right now, and it's just crickets.
yeah.
The like no one's like again the whole cancel culture thing is like dead, right? At this point, it's dead. The canceling it was the cancel culture overplayed their power, and but no one's saying cancel her, but like there's no repercussions like for her doing what she's doing. She can do whatever, she can say whatever about Will, and it's wrong and whatever, and she's just allowed to take advantage because there's no repercussions to it. Like she's not like really getting any consequence to her deliberately doing this to Will.
I mean, that's an interesting point. I think right now, like it's like I said, like it seems to me like a battle of two victims. Like Jada's trying to still play this victim role, right? Like
but is
like
really
I don't have my soulmate, or like, like I couldn't find love in this relationship, or like this was like untenable, this was irreconcilable, and for whatever reason, right? Like we did X, Y, and Z, and we still couldn't make it work. I couldn't find any passion, whatever. Like that's still a victim's mindset as well, because like, and with Will, like he's playing silent, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, right? Like the last several events have kind of cast him out as being victimized, some to his own accord, like just straight up, like the slap, like you did that to yourself, like. And I'm not sure to what extent like he really took accountability for it. Like I know he had
no
apology, but like
that was a
like,
fake.
that's
That was
bullshit.
fake.
Yeah, that's bullshit. So
No.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't sympathize with it, because I just don't think it's real life. Like what they're doing. Like it's just like,
yeah.
I think both of them would, in the court of like public opinion, like they would pay for this at some point, if this was as toxic as it seems to be. Like there would be, at least there wouldn't necessarily be cancellation, but like you couldn't really show yourself at really like parties and stuff with like your affiliated crews, like your social crews would be impacted. Nothing has happened to really either of them. Honestly, I don't really think anything's happened. Period.
No, but I don't think anything. I don't think like Jada's ever gonna feel the repercussion. Will is on the apology tour. Like again, the reason I feel sad, so like for him is like when he gave his results, when he gave his review or his appreciation of Jada for after reading the memoirs, he also put like, again, he loves her even more. Like, I'm sorry I wasn't like a better person. Like, so he's apologizing for stuff like we don't know, and it's just stuff that's so like it doesn't have to be public.
Thank you.
It doesn't have to be public. Like either one, what do you know about Will that he doesn't want to know, or two, I know that I think she also said like they're not gonna get a divorce because I think that's something either she promised him or they promised each other that they just wouldn't get a divorce because they're like life partners or whatever. So
now what's the difference between soulmate and life partner?
That right? I don't know. But
like what?
But it goes on to, so like, is Will so like if Will's like pissed at you, or like he's really now treating this separation as a separation, do you really not have any money? It's not she look like a person that needs money, and you know what? And it's she probably receives some coins, something, but if she gets a divorce, I guarantee you, Will Smith put her on a prenup. Will Smith was the bigger person. He's the biggest. He was the biggest star coming in. Still is the biggest star coming in. Probably is definitely the breadwinner. Probably put on a prenup, and she's probably like, yeah, let's not get a divorce. It's probably just better for us to stay together. But maybe there's just stipulations where she just kind of needs her own money.
Yeah, and I think the relative image levels, so to speak, I think that's why Will kind of got the perceived brunt of the impact of this, because I mean, to your point, like he is the more famous figure.
He's the more famous one. He's a bigger star,
more accomplished star in Hollywood and all that good stuff. So I mean, he's the more public of the two public figures.
And I guess I mean for marketing, what sounds better, Jada Pinkett or Jada Pinkett Smith? You've been Jada Pinkett Smith for God knows how long. That Smith name means something.
Absolutely. I mean,
so and this me, I just thought about it now. Like the whole thing, like her maybe needing money, so she's doing that. This kind of goes to, I don't know if you heard of this. There's a former NBA star. I don't know his name, but he has a history of being like financially. He has a financial problem. Like he I think retired years ago. So he dated an adult entertainer. Former adult entertainer. So
Okay.
He eventually marries her. So I don't know what their money situation, but like she probably thought he's an NBA player, he has all this money, but like the crazy statistics that shows. I know, like, I don't know about basketball players, but like football players, like after they retire, like 83% of players go bankrupt. So it's probably similar to NBA players, especially because they have more money. They just kind of run through it because they don't really teach you about financial literacy or anything like that. So she probably just thinking like he probably got bank, but while 10 million, let's just say he had $10 million, or like let's just say career earnings. I'm being generous. Let's say he made 40, 50 mil. Sounds like a lot of money, right? Until you realize
No
that you
doubt.
gotta live off that. God knows where your expenses are, your taxes. Gotta pay those taxes and all that stuff. That's not really you can run through that money. People don't think it, but you can run through 50 mil.
Shoot,
If you
if he
take
hadn't done it already, like, right?
yeah,
Like,
right?
that's career earnings. That doesn't mean it's in his account right now. And
Exactly.
that does not account for, like you said, like the credits that he's probably masked up if he wasn't very
So
financially savvy with it.
I think they had like a financial issue, whatever, and I don't, we don't know the extent of it, but she eventually got like an OnlyFans, and it was a
Mm.
secret, but it was a secret OnlyFans, like. And
Huh?
the only reason he found out, I think, when his boy said something. So of course he confronts her, and she's like, "Well, like, we got financial problems. You say you're gonna handle it. Well, you ain't handling it, so I'm gonna handle it my own way, get my own money."
What the hell is a secret OnlyFans? Like, I don't even get that. Like, it's like
I
it's
don't
a
know.
it's a public tool. Like,
Got an OnlyFans.
how do you even keep it? Like, as soon as you open one up, how the heck you think that's not gonna get back?
Apparently, I don't. I could be wrong. I think they said it was for a while too, like months to almost a year.
That's
But he
nuts.
eventually found out, but of course, the big thing is one, like while they're arguing about it, she's like, "My man here is pissed because I got an OnlyFans and like airing the dirty laundry. Why you gotta go on IG Live, TikTok? I don't know what the hell." And it becomes a big problem. And so now she kind of emasculated him a bit
It's
and she's like, "Oh, you're like, it's not even a big deal because I don't do anything with anyone. It's just like I don't know, whatever." She's probably like, playing with herself or whatever.
yeah.
I don't know, but
I
it's
mean,
like
at the end of the day, like, regardless if you're, male, female, boy, girl, right? Like, if you have standards, live by them, right? Like, don't feel emasculated or don't feel like your femininity is gone on the other side. Like, if somebody does something that is in violation of your values, right? Like, who cares
yeah,
about public opinion on that one? Like, if you get
yeah,
canceled, well, fine, live up to what you feel like, right? Like,
yeah. All I could tell Buddy is, the saying is true, right? Not saying she a hoe, but
I'm dead.
yeah, can't make a hotel housewife, right? So it's like,
I'm dead.
that's the first thing I thought when I heard this. I'm like,
I mean, it's probably one of those, like, you probably knew what it was when you signed up type of thing, right? Like,
oh, you knew it wasn't
yeah,
secret
exactly.
what her
Like,
background was.
yeah. So, I mean, was he like shocked and appalled? I don't know, but I'm just
It's like,
like, how
it's like,
mad could you really be? Like, you were gonna be the one to change it all.
no, like I think the funny example, like I've seen it like in real life where like you're dating somebody and you cheat on that person with this new person, right? So
Mhm.
now, so then you can, well, you know what? I'm leaving my girlfriend now because I'm gonna go with my new girlfriend. Who, we met because I cheated on her with her, and then you're gonna get mad because she cheated on you, or like the girlfriend gets mad that you're cheating on her. It's like, well, you guys were cheaters when you met, so that's how we met. I was cheating. So now you surprised?
It's- yeah,
And I seen it happen in real life, so I was like,
yeah. Like,
I told people, I was like, what you expect, man? That's how y'all met.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a weird way to say karma, but that's just common freaking sense. Like,
Yeah, I don't
oh
know, man.
man.
It is a doozy of an episode, man.
Relationship talk at its finest, man. Like this one's like the big side of the spectrum, right? Like how much more toxic can you really get? And I'm sure somebody's got an answer for that.
Oh no, don't
If you
worry.
do, leave it in the comments.
Oh no. So Jada released a memoir in October. Give it to January. Get the new year. Get the new year right.
Man,
That might be a topic for season 3 for all we know, because that's
the second edition or the limited edition, the bonus track.
She's coming back strong.
The re-release.
Hey, but man, I mean, it's only right that as we end the season, one more episode, but like this is almost like this is the how you pronounce it, the penultimate.
Yeah.
So like this is a big high. So the next episode, it's not gonna be as explosive as you say this one, but it's a good one. The next episode is gonna be a good one, and we're gonna have a special guest for that one confirmed.
Yeah, looking forward to that talk. Obviously, like we can have fun with these moments a little bit too, because there's a lot of social media kind of spoofing and like satire that's involved with this stuff, right? But at the end of the day, like you hate it for them because like whatever this is, like it's not positive. Now, I mean, like I said, I think they've done it to themselves. I don't feel bad for it. I think you would have rather it be a positive relationship, better for the kids, whatever that looks like. But I mean, it just kind of goes to show you, right? Like that money, that fame ain't really everything, man. Like,
and I think we said it last episode. I guess we're gonna have to keep saying it again, man. Like, not everything needs to be on social media. You don't have to document life on social media. I think the faster you learn that, the easier it's gonna get. And I think for us, for like when you think about our generation, we had to learn that on the fly, because like. I mean, we didn't really get social media to like MySpace in like high school, and we didn't really know.
Yeah.
So like, we was kind of winging it, and and we was kind of documenting everything on MySpace. I mean, not me. I didn't have I had a MySpace for like a year. Like I was like super late to the party, but like but Facebook was a thing because everyone had to get in college. And every Facebook is documented, right? Super documented, and they always say like. Your relationship ain't official to your Facebook official. I remember when people kept saying that.
Yeah, man. It kind of started going down south a little bit from there.
And I remember like, hey, man, like Facebook ruined some relationships or caused drama. But not everything.
MySpace was starting that joint too. A little bit. If you weren't in that top 8 or you weren't in that top 4, and you were the couple, that's drama filled.
I remember when that was a thing, and I was like, again, I got there late to the party because I didn't really have a computer or anything. But like when people were telling me about that, I was like, who would I put in my top 10? I don't know. But
everybody was trying to get to that list, man. You was trying to run it.
But yeah, man, like not everything needs to be on social media, man. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there has to be studies, and if not, man, Josh, talk to your research people and tell them to get on the study about like.
Hey man, I'm out that space. They can research that all they want. I'm out that joint.
You give them the topic and let them break you a piece off that topic about the some type of correlation between like relationship status, like relationship happiness, and the usage of social media. I'm pretty sure there's got to be a study on it already, but that has to show.
There's plenty just like on an individual level that like the way people like use social media can be like correlated with like depression or anxiety, like all of that stuff. Like we're such a stimulus driven world where like everybody's perception is like almost glorified because of certain chosen photos that aren't necessarily an accurate depiction of everyday life.
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, it goes to show you like, right, like just like even back in the day, it was like magazine standards, right? Like these models who've been like touched up and like body images like condensed or like photoshopped, and now that's a massive thing. I mean, it always has been, but like,
yeah,
what are these unrealistic perceptions of how you should look what you should pursue, what relationships look like. And like we had it with Will and Jada. Like they were like that perception of a perfect relationship, and it's all crashing and burning. And like there's a big lesson to be had there, right? Do your own thing.
Oh man, I want to know who's gonna be the next couple that we put up there, that pedestal. They got a couple openings.
Me and mine. That's it. Me and mine. Shoot. That's my only answer.
I'm gonna tell everybody, yo, you want that Barack or Michelle love? You want that JB love? Or you want that Josh Maisha love? You let me know.
Man, hey, I'm still looking up to y'all, man. Y'all still setting the template, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, at the end of the day, like, you just got to trust yourself and the relationship that you have with your person, you know, your significant other, right? Like, I'm not going to look up to a couple that I just don't know anything about. Like, that's what your community members are for, right? Like, if your parents are in a stable relationship, if your uncle and aunt, your grandma, grandpa, like, yeah, like, Bumper Will and Jada. Like,
that's today's society, right? That's just
yeah. Find your real go-tos that you trust. You still don't air out all your dirty laundry, but you take that template, right? And you just kind of make it, you mold it to your own.
And social media is not real life.
Facts. Absolute facts. We're hitting another lengthy one today, man.
Always.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to settle on this, man. It just is what it is.
Yeah, hour 20 is basically what we looking like per episode.
Yep. Well, you know, this has been another fantastic episode of Genuine Content. Once again, follow us on all of our social media platforms at genuine_content spelled with a K. Once again, you can find us on all streaming platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. Like, subscribe, leave a review. Tell us what you think about this scenario. Like, we want to hear more from the audience, more from fans, more from listeners. Like, what do y'all think about this situation for real? Like, has it been overblown? Is it like, who's really at fault at this? Or like, who's really owned the toxicity here? That's what I'm really curious about. Like, who has really brought it in the family?
Males and females. I want to hear both sides.
Yeah. I'm not saying that this got to be battle of the sexes and whatnot, but like, I'm interested in hearing all perspectives on this because we all come from different backgrounds. Obviously, even Jay and I had different takes on the same situation. And, you know, we've had our debates on it. We've had debates amongst the group. There's a lot of divisiveness of opinion on this. And if you think somebody's simped out, if you think somebody sold out, if you think somebody was just flogging the whole time, well, let us know.
The best way to end it off, man. That's just wait for the responses.
Hey, but you know who keeps it real though? It's your boys at Genuine Content.
Yeah. We definitely don't sugarcoat it.
Nah.
Definitely say how it is.
Yeah. No nonsense here, man. Whew. Well, this has been the official, the real big table talk.
The big table talk. That's what we're gonna call this.
All right, y'all. Well, this is once again Genuine Content. Y'all have a good one. Peace out and get ready for the next one.
Peace.
Just get the fuck out my face.